Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel. So today we have Pulsar NS160 twin disc, and today I'll review this bike, and I will also tell you should you buy this or the UG5 or the Pulsar 150 Classic, because all these three bikes are relatively close to each other in the price also and in the segment also, so people often get confused should they buy this or other two. So today I will clear it out for you, and now let's start with the review. So if we compare this bike to the standard NS160, what you see is that this bike now has the rear disc, and this bike also has a wider rear tire. So these are the changes, and I think, though I was not told about this, but I think I did not see this Kickstarter on the standard NS160. So I think this is new, according to me. I'm not sure about that. And rest, everything is same. So now let's ride this bike, and we'll talk about it as we ride it. As soon as you sit on this bike, you get the feeling of NS200, its bigger sibling, and according to me, it's a really good thing. The weather is really good, a beautiful sunset, and it's a bit cold, so a perfect weather for riding. So starting with the engine is very smooth. On the standard version of NS160, it was also really smooth, so no problems with the engine. And one thing when we compare it to the UG5 is that this bike does not have the same amount of grunt in the lower end. So if you saw my UG5 review, I said that the UG5 has a lot of usable power. So usable power means it has a lot of power in the lower revs, so getting a quick pickup and all is no issue on that bike. But if we talk about NS160, this bike does not offer the same amount of grunt in the lower end. But what this bike does is it offers a really good power in the mid and top end. So if I do a downshift and then if I take it to the higher revs, this is where this bike really hits the sweet spot. You see 75, 70, no problem for this bike. You can easily get there. And higher speeds, high engine RPM, no problem, no vibrations at all. The engine does not feel strained at all, so that is a really good thing. And all these points I will consider in the end to tell you which bike should you buy. Okay, now talking about the transmission, the gearbox is really smooth, really precise. And if you are an enthusiast rider, you like riding a bike, you like riding it hard, then I must also tell you it is really good for rev matching and clutchless upshifting also. So that's a really good thing. If you want to do clutchless upshifting, really smooth. Without the clutch also, this shifts really smoothly. And if you want to do rev matching, then also it is really good. Talking about the suspension on this bike has a little hard suspension setup, and that is what you expect from NS, because this bike is more oriented towards enthusiast riders. So they want their bike to have a little hard suspension setup so that their bike can communicate and also give them that stability when they are going fast around corners. Okay, so this is what I expected, and the same case is there. The bike has a little hard suspension setup, but it is not at all uncomfortable. It's just that when you hit a really sharp pothole or really sharp bump, it gets directly transferred to you. So that is a problem. Otherwise, the suspension setup is very good. On roads like these, when the road surface is not that good, but there are no sharp bumps or anything like that, it is going very nicely, and nothing is getting transferred to me. You see that bump? No problem. But it's only when a really big pothole comes in, it will be a problem. Now talking about the brakes, which I think is the biggest difference on the standard NS160 and this one. So talking about the rear brake, the disc brake, feedback is not up to the mark. I would have liked a bit more feedback. Otherwise the bite is there, and it has good stopping power. Now talking about the front disc is really good, offers really good stopping power, has a really good bite, and you can control that bite. It's not that you press the brakes and it's like immediately. You can control the bite on this bike, That is a really good thing for new riders. And about the feedback is also good on the front brakes. Rear, I would have liked a bit more. Talking about the styling is inspired by the NS200. So it's really good, naked wolves. So really good design, and with that fatter rear tire and twin disc, this bike now resembles the NS200 like a lot. If you see it from a distance, you will like be blown away when you get to know that this is a 160, not the 200. Okay, so styling, I will give it good marks because I like the NS200 and its design. One more thing that I really like is the switch for indicators. You get this center button which you can press and the indicators will stop working, which I think is a really cool touch. And it reminds me of the old 220 when we used to get that automatic indicators. Now if we talk about handling on this bike, which I think a lot of you will be interested in, the front end feel is really good. It really communicates to you, and the front end position and everything really complements the sporty character of this bike, because with that front end feel and with that front end stability and everything, when you go and hit a corner, this bike really feels at home while doing cornering and all. So front end really good, which I missed on the UG5. So front end feel really good. The front seat is wide and long, so for tall riders like me, I'm 6 feet, so it's no problem for me for getting a good position. And the riding position is when you sit like this on UG5 and you sit like this on this bike. So it's not at all uncomfortable, but it gives you a good riding position for fast riding and all. You get this cool blue backlit switch gear, which I think is really cool, looks really cool, and in the night time will look really good. Keep this bike in the mid-range and it does not even feel like a 160 to me. So now let's talk about the main point, which is should you buy this or the UG5 or Classic. So according to me, people who love riding, really like taking their bikes on the highway, love doing cornering and all, NS160 is no doubt best for you, because NS is more towards younger audience. So NS is really good option for you. Now if we talk about more towards practicality and more usable power, because this bike offers power in the mid and top end, which I think is not really good for city traffic and traffic conditions. So if you want a more practical bike than this, though UG5 is also a really good bike, but in terms of sporty character, this bike is something else. So if you are looking more towards practicality, then I'll suggest you UG5. And if you just want a commuter, you don't want anything like this, you don't want anything like twin disc or anything fancy, you just want a simple 150 commuter bike, then you can go for Classic. Otherwise, I will suggest this bike for sporty bikers, for enthusiast riders, and the UG5 for more practical buyers. But if we talk about Apache in this case, so 160, and we talk about the 160 RTR 4V Apache has more vibration than this bike. But the thing is, Apache has a sweeter sounding exhaust note and it has more sporty character than this bike. So if you are like totally towards sporty biking, then I'll suggest you Apache. Otherwise, this is a really good option, and if you are more towards practicality, then UG5. So I think this should be it. Hope this video cleared your doubt. So thanks for watching, guys. Do give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't till now, and also turn on the bell notification so that you get notified about my each and every video and more such content and more such vlogs and more such reviews. And if you have any doubt, comment down below. I'll surely reply you. And thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.